I'm Courtnee Carter, and I play Nurse Kelly and Andy's mom.
Hi, I'm Deon'te Goodman, and I play Mike and Jimmy.
What brought you to this show? What resonated with you?
The music, for sure. I mean, it's such the music in the show is so iconic, and it's so grooving. Like, it just has such a good feeling, and I love singing rock music. I feel like in order to sing this music, you have to channel your strongest self and your most confident self, and like that's what I'm always striving towards and like working towards, and I feel like that's what really drove me to this show. And like the story, both of my grandfather and my uncle both served in the Vietnam War, and just to be able to tell those stories authentically and like channel my ancestors through it as well, just like it's been.
I have to ask you another question.
Sure.
What singer from that era do you channel?
Oh, Diana Ross for sure. Diana Ross, the Supremes. Yeah, definitely. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I would say for me, it's the music and context to how we sort of, to piggyback over what you said, the music contextualized in this way. It's such a beautiful thing for me, and to just be able to, stand in your power and be able to tell the story that relates to so many people, who both lived in that time or who have family members who lived in that time and have heard the stories, and to be able to see it in this real space and contextualize with like what was happening over there. I think it's absolutely what drew me to this show, and similar to you, like I have I have 5 uncles and 1 aunt, and my 5 uncles were all served, and so just to be able to have conversations with them, call them and be like, hey, what was your experience? As much as they're like willing to talk about, because you never want to,
But you're also honoring them.
You said what?
You're also honoring
Absolutely,
them.
absolutely, and it feels good. It feels good to walk out of the theater and to see people who lived during that time come up to us and they're like, thank you, because you showed us something that we could, even though we lived the time, we only saw like bits and pieces of it. Whether for those who didn't serve and we didn't necessarily have family members who served, they're like, we only heard the music. But to hear the music in relationship to the story, it's something that really resonates with them. So it's really, really beautiful to witness and to be a part of.
Does it get into the fact that this was the first media circus? This is the first time war was televised.
Right.
Yeah. It doesn't. With, as you can see, with the TV,
Which is fabulous.
Yeah.
There's a lot of like media aspects to this show that I think our team and the creatives like really wanted to make sure that you heard the real world like interviews and the real world speeches that were happening in that time. It's like, no, this is not just fluff. This is like these are real stories. These are stories inspired by people who lived that time, people who served, and these speeches were exactly what you would have seen at that time. You know what I mean? So it's like it just makes it all the more real and visceral in that way.
Really draws you in.
Has it affected you yet that in a strange way it's like we're hearing the same speeches only through different voices?
Listen, how
history
can
is
it
repeating itself.
Yeah, for
No,
sure.
it definitely is.
I think that's the beautiful thing. Sorry.
Go ahead.
No, I was going to say I think that's a beautiful thing about theater in general is that it turns a mirror onto the world and society, and I think that this show is no different in that way. You know what I mean?
It's the 50th anniversary of the
Yes,
war,
yes.
But it's like it feels everything that's happening. It feels relevant today, and as an artist, it feels. I feel like I'm doing the right thing. It's in being able to use my voice, singing, acting, and kind of a protest in a way. I'm happy,
because
because
this music, some of this music was a protest.
Yes.
Like this music
it was
a
totally a
protest.
protest.
You know what I mean? So what we're doing,
And that
in
was
this
the best
way-
part of it because you could say it and not get crucified.
Yeah, exactly. So I think that in that way, like this show is honoring the music in that way and honoring what we as artists have always done. Like being an artist is a beautiful thing, and we get to use our voice in a way that makes a statement. and
Yeah.
for something that we believe in. You know.
Yeah.
In this show for each of you, which is the moment that defines what you feel about this show?
Without giving too much away, I mean, I play the mother of someone who has been drafted into the war, and I'm over here in the States, you know, writing letters to people in power and protesting. And there's a song that we do in the show that really kind of fuels my anger and my fight as my character. And I think I won't tell you what that number is, but like it feels really good to just dig into the meatiness of this show. Yeah.
I won't give too much away, but there's a character, my character Jimmy. That character I feel like I most resonate with. He's, you know, someone who is in the States, and he's, you know, in a similar way, like protesting the war in a bit more of a conscious character in that way. And he has a moment in the show where he gets to turn a mirror onto the audience, and you know, and live in that time, but also, you know, be like, if you're paying attention, you can see the ways in which it relates to how we, you know, exist now in our current climate. You know,
I actually
and
love
form whatever opinion for yourself.
I love when theater does that.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. I look forward to seeing the show.
Thank you.